Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I know it's been a very, very long time since I actually think I narrated a video, but I wanted to go ahead and put something out for the 25th of December this year, something that I've always done. And in the last couple of years, that was usually some sort of patch release. But because this year we've actually had the latest patch released just a couple of months ago, and I haven't had a chance to work on anything new. I'm just going to do this video and sort of show you around some of the patchwork that we've been working on. So, as you can see, I'm in the back of Stormwind portion of the mod, and this is obviously the lands that are behind Stormwind. You can see here we have the wall. Behind that, obviously, there seems to be a difference between the different climates. And here is essentially the scars of the First War. Obviously, if you fly into this area and you go towards this, you'll eventually reach the Blackrock Gates. So, for those of you who haven't had a chance to look at it, there's a sort of abandoned town in the middle. I still haven't populated this area with NPCs, but there's supposed to be a Stormwind post that's operating here, and then from that point on, you'll have probably low-level mobs, since it's a zone adjacent to Stormwind. But they're going to be akin to sort of the Defias in Elwyn. We're going to have low-level Blackrock orcs there. If you take this part of the road, it'll take you up to this area here, which is sort of a convergence between, I believe, not Northshire, but I forget what the name of this zone is. I haven't integrated it into the patch, so it's not popping up. And then this area, which will move obviously into the southern parts of the Dunmorrow Mountains, as well as the alternate path up the mountain, which will essentially take you to the Dwarven starting zone. Now, if we go down this area, and once we go past this particular village, we start to approach the area that will be the Barbarian Zone, which is essentially an area that was once occupied by orcs, now sort of the den of the freed human slaves that the orcs had. There is a pass, obviously, through there. Right now, it's shut. This door is shut, but this pass is sort of it'll be like a mini dungeon transition place. I still haven't finished it, so that's why it's been closed off in the patches. If we go down through this area here is where we will find the tribe of blood trolls. And again, it's also a sort of like mini dungeon area for players in this zone. So again, still haven't been able to populate those with trolls, but I will get into that. So I think the thing that we'll take a look at right now is the place that I actually have NPCs, which is the gates of the Blackrock Gates. And we'll take a look at this area, see what the NPCs sort of look like. The idea for this particular encampment was to give the Blackrock orcs a sort of above ground equivalent to, I don't want to say Orgrimmar, but Orgrimmar was definitely an inspiration. So it's essentially a citadel which you can use it. Originally, the intent was to create an outdoor dungeon of sorts, and so there are particular areas where you could put outdoor world bosses, such as the arena here, which is all completely reskinned. We have another area up here where you can have another boss in this area here. We also have, obviously, bosses inside the main, I forget what these are called, but let's just call the garrison, as well as being able to access a boss on this tower here for sort of like a mage boss that you could definitely incorporate into this area, or a warlock boss that you could definitely add. So this is essentially where we're at with the zone. It occupies that pass between the Blackrock Mountain and what is behind Stormwind. And so when you look at how the forests are laid out, how the scar sort of like spills in from the point of which it would have been, or Stormwind would have been attacked from all sides in the first war. So that's particularly one of the interesting things that I've continued working on. This is one of the largest modded zones that I have, which makes it also one of the hardest areas to finish modding, precisely because of that. It's just huge, so it's going to take a lot of time for me to correct errors, to populate properly. But one of the changes that I've made recently is I've extended an area of this zone. So before this was all closed off, now the path from the Dwarven Mountain, you can actually see another path. One of them leads winding down into this new area where you have a gnomish home. And the idea is to put a gnomish water transport here. The other path, which kind of hugs the mountain, has some bridges, brings you into a sort of gnome, not starting area, but a gnome area nonetheless. It's this little valley on the side of the mountain where you have just a bunch of little bits and bobs that you can operate. Now, one of the things that is going to change is when I was building it, I saw the vents in the asset browser, but you can't see the particle effects. So these are not meant, these grates are not meant to be spewing green toxic stuff. They're just meant to be grates. So that'll be one of the next changes. This area is supposed to just be a nice area where gnomish tinkers live. There's an area here where they use their flying machines. They can land and take off from this area, as well as a teleporting machine that hopefully I'll be able to connect to a network of teleporters that will be relevant and useful for gnomes. So this is a brand new area. Not a huge area. It sort of hugs the mountain and hugs the available resources that we had in the existing map, and so just gives a bit more detail and breadth to this entire zone. I think one of the things that we're going to do now as well is let me go ahead and teleport somewhere that's more interesting. Alright, so we are at my version of Restored Lorderon. Now, people must understand, because I've gotten a couple of questions about this area, it is not replacing Undercity. The objective of this area was to make it a Caverns of Times scenario, which means this has been placed in another map area. As you can see, it's in the middle of nowhere, essentially. There's another model of the same city that I was tinkering with a bit, and you'll see why. One of the reasons is I was tinkering with this model, so the lights and shadows of it are a bit messed up, so it's not going to be permanent. But the idea of this particular map, again, to exist in Caverns of Time, it's in the patch, it's in the Emerald Dream instance for the game. So if you have my patches and you want to get here, all you have to do is teleport into the Emerald Dream instance and fly around until you find this area. Actually, let me go ahead and see if I can give you... Let's go GPS and... Right, so here's the data. Emerald Dream, map 169. Here are the coordinates. So if you want to actually teleport here, you'll be able to do that. So the idea with this area obviously is to populate it. It's still very green. Like you see, there's areas that I haven't actually gotten into developing fully. There's paths here that aren't finished. The idea was just to show you what was possible, and I do plan on coming back and finishing this up. So go ahead and leave your comments in the comments section if you think that what you would like me to do for the next major release, for the next major patch release, is to have this completed and make this the Caverns of Time or the Restored Lorderon patch as the next main thing that I'll release. Leave your comments. Leave your comments. Tell me what you want in the comment section. That gives me an idea of what to focus on. Alright, so now having said that, let's teleport to another area that I'm interested in working on and finishing. So we're now here on the outside of Southport. For the people who are asking questions, where is Southport? Southport is in the southernmost portion of Daenerys. So essentially you go through these gates that have been opened up now, and you come into the area that has Southport. Southport is intended to be a Kultiran colony city, a colony port, and that's where it's located. There's a couple of things that I want to add to this map. I want to add some stone arches coming out from the water there. I also want to add a couple more here. So I want it to be sort of surrounded by these rock formations in the water. As for Southport itself, I think I was pretty happy with this version of Southport. I was trying to tinker and figure out some things that I wanted to change with it. Particularly, I wanted to get a different version of these buildings going around, change this type of housing to the type of roofing that we have here. Same with these. So it's a little bit of minor tweaking and putting in other resources that we have, but it's also understanding that I want to take some of these assets and implement them for my version of Kultiras, which I think I've already mentioned that what I want for my version of Kultiras to be, because Kultiras was a sort of a maritime nation, is that instead of it being what it is in retail WoW, I sort of want it to be a mixture of Spanish, Portuguese, even Italian influences, because when I think of pirates, when I think of that, I think, the Caribbean, and I think of a specific era, and that's when the Spanish and the Portuguese had their, galleon ships and all of that. So that's where I'm leaning with this. And again, if you're interested in this coming up, leave your opinions down in the comments. That always helps. And yeah, I think that's where we're at basically. There's one last thing that I want to show you, which is still available, and again, this should be already available in the release patches, but I want to show you a last area which I didn't speak about and I didn't show you, that is currently available in the latest patch. So we'll go ahead and teleport there right now. Alright, so we are in Zulaman, which was released in the latest patch. And so we've got the city, we've got the forest, we've got the starting zones, we've got all of that information and all of those maps. What I wanted to show you is actually behind this. And so the idea is eventually that this gate here opens up and it'll take you to this area behind that. Now, what do we have here? Well, we've got some water, just sort of like indicating the end of the continent on this area. We've got some mountains, and then we've got this complex of pyramids and temple pyramids. So, and then of course the mountains that go around and around this particular way as well, which will eventually connect with what is the Plague Lands. So what is this? These models are not, they're present in the patch, so you could absolutely use them. And they are unique models that I've built for this. Now, this was a product a couple of months ago. I traveled to Mexico, and I had a chance to visit the archaeological site of Teotihuacan, which are these massive pyramids, and they're sort of roughly oriented in this fashion. So I wanted to pay a tribute to that. So what's the idea with this? Is it going to be part of the city? No. My idea would be that these areas are all ruined, and they would most likely be infested by the scourge, which is sort of leaking through from the Plague Lands, which would be around this particular area. So this would be, again, it's another area that surrounds the city that if you're establishing a troll race, a forest troll race, this could be another. We already have the starting zone. This could be a level 20 to 30 area. It could be anything that you want, but the idea is just to have another small sub-region themed around the trolls. And so I'm happy to show you that this exists right now in the map. So if anyone who wants to just go ahead and use my resources for something else, you can. But this is going to come further down the line. Right now, the last patch, I spent a lot of time working on the trolls, so I don't think I'm going to come back immediately. But also, if you have any opinions, leave them down in the comments, and we'll see when I get to that. So I think that's all I wanted to show you this time around. I am going to wish all of you happy holidays and great new year, and we'll continue seeing each other in 2026. Until then, everybody, bye-bye.